Oh, thank goodness I caught the audio. Okay, so everything's good. Did I even... Yep, camera's recording. Okay, now that I'm at the end of finished recording the whole thing, it's good to check that we actually got it. Both AMD and Intel have a curious positioning of their mainstream and high-end CPU lineups. With AMD, their highest core mainstream CPUs, the R7s, are 8 cores and 16 threads for all of them. But there's also an 8-core 16-thread CPU in the Threadripper line, the 1900X. Intel is in a similar situation, but it's a staggered overlap. The i7 8700K is a Coffee Lake, and the i7 7800X is Skylake X, so we're talking two different generations here, but still a similar overlap in core count between them, both being 6 cores and 12 threads. So why is it that both CPU manufacturers have done this, an overlap in core count between their mainstream and high-end lineups? So for the most part, what the high-end gives you is more PCIe lanes and I/O, a quad-channel RAM, and power delivery upgrades and a socket change to account for higher core count and higher power draw CPUs. So really the differences between the mainstream and high-end platforms themselves are small, and a lot of the features that you get from high-end are really only useful if you specifically need them. They're not things that everyone would benefit from. They're targeted improvements for specific tasks and workloads. If somebody is wanting to buy a CPU, then both Intel and AMD want that person on their platform. And if that person wants to just buy a cheap CPU and motherboard to watch my YouTube videos, then AMD and Intel both want to provide that to them at a price that they're willing to pay. To do that, they have to make a platform that costs them less to make. At the mainstream level, the CPUs don't need the power delivery that higher end motherboards can provide, and most of the features that you would also get from high-end people typically won't use. Manufacturers pay to provide these features, and if nobody's going to use them, then it's in their best interest to remove them and save money. But some people do need them, and they can get them. It's just now, because of this decision to provide a lower cost and higher cost platform, they will have to pay a premium because they're in the minority of customers, because fewer people need those features. At this point, it becomes an exercise in stock control and careful pricing, because they know that fewer people are going to buy into the high end, but they also want as many as they can to buy into it because there's higher margin on those products, because they're selling them for a higher price compared to what they pay for it than similar motherboards in the mainstream. They don't want to make it so cheap that it competes with their mainstream, but they also don't want to make it so expensive that they scare away potential buyers. So the overlap in core counts, which has been given very little time in this video, but it's what it's about. I just wanted to give some background, some perspective on it before I actually addressed it. The overlap is to entice people onto the high-end platform. It's for those people who are looking at an R7 or an i7 and looking at the potential features that the high-end offers and thinking, hey, maybe I might be able to benefit from these, or maybe I might want to upgrade to a higher core count CPU later on, so maybe I should go with Threadripper or X299 and have that opportunity to grow in the future. From the perspective of the businesses, it's a natural way of getting fence riders onto the higher end platform in hopes that they'll upgrade to a more expensive CPU later on and spend even more money there and buy another high margin product. Believe it or not, with X99, the highest selling CPU was the 6950X, the most expensive CPU on that platform. We don't have numbers for Threadripper or X299 yet, but it's a safe bet that it's going to be a similar case. So the strategy works. If they can get somebody onto their high-end platform, they can probably get that person to buy big. Alright, so if you like the video, give it a like. If not, give it a dislike, because that's how things work around here. Subscribe if you want to hear more of these ramblings, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, I'm done.